Today, we're exploring the forgotten remnants of an abandoned funeral home.
Pulverized hardening compound for embalming use only. The funeral director or somebody lived here, and this is directly on top of the funeral home we were just in. Right now, we're inside of an abandoned funeral home. Now this place is amazing, and just from the looks of it, it looks like it's from about the early 1900s. When we walked around and I saw all the decay, it reminded me of Fallout and just being inside of one of those games. So let's see what's left and let's explore more. Right now we're walking in to what was once the chapel inside of this funeral home where a funeral service would be. And you're looking at all the chairs. This is where friends, family would sit. But just take a look at this place and how it looks now. We even have these like Gothic Roman looking lights up here. And just the decay in this building is amazing. And it's just very eerie and creepy to see a funeral home look like this. It honestly looks like the start of a horror movie. As we get closer, you can just see all these chairs. They're left out. It's weird. It almost reminds me of there's like a bunch of ghosts sitting in these chairs and they're actually at the funeral they once came to. And that nothing's changed here over time. But in our eyes of the explorer, everything's just abandoned and it's forgotten. You can see how amazing the decay is in this place. I mean, it's just some of the craziest I've seen. Here was like a chair, or it was like some sort of couch for more people just to fit in and sit. It's just completely gone. That's all done just by nature and just what happens to these places over time. Here you can see just water dripping down. And eventually this will probably just go right through the floor. And this place will just be a pit of nothing. And now we're looking at the casket, and there's actually a real casket that was left behind here. And this is exactly what you would have seen when you came here for a funeral all those years ago when this place was still open. And just the fact that it's set up like this still, it's just a very, very strange and eerie feeling looking at this. Something that I've never seen before. And it just feels like a movie set. It doesn't feel real. There's actually so much in this place. If you just take a minute to look around, you can find things that are in the decay. And this was one that was kind of just hidden off. And you can see it says, please register. So there would be a book here with a pencil or a pen, and everybody who came to your funeral would sign it. And, now the book is gone. There's no more people here. But you can still kind of use your imagination to picture, a line of people waiting to sign their name in this book for their friend or someone in their family who passed away. Here's a bit of a closer look at the casket here. Now, I'm not sure if this was one that was actually used in a funeral or not, but you have to think, if it was someone who was never found or they just didn't want to have the body here, it could have just been an empty casket like you're seeing now. Or this one could have been used during a closed casket ceremony or an open casket ceremony. It's just wild when you're standing here and you're thinking about the past and all that happened and all the people who were affected by this place and who were here and they cried. And now it's just quiet and empty. But you have to think about, people who are standing right where I am now. They were here for their friend, their family, and it was a sad day for them. And you can feel that emotion in the air in this place. The decay adds to that feeling, but it's just something about this location. Look at these flowers left here. They all wilted, they're dead, but these were probably used in someone's funeral. These flowers, they're still here. when I'm just like standing here looking at this casket, it's hard for me not to think like who was the last person in this thing, or who was even just the last person to see this casket. What was their day like? What was going on in their mind? You know, I think that sometimes those emotions and those feelings can get left behind in a place like this. And it does feel like that. And there's even a little piano over here. Maybe they would have someone playing some music just to lighten the mood, or even people saying some prayers too. And nothing completes an abandoned funeral home like a little demon cherub with its hand out. What does it want from us? And here's the rest of the common area. You can see there's actually some original couches that were here when this place was open. I mean, imagine who sat here. Imagine what they were going through. That's, for me, that's just crazy, just when I start thinking about all that stuff and all the people who were once here. So I was looking around, and I wanted to see where the bathroom was, and I found it. Look. It's right here. In this flooded section that the stairs just break off, so yeah, I don't think we're getting down there anymore. This used to be a staircase. There's actually a staircase going down. This one went up, but it's completely destroyed now, falling apart, just like the rest of this building. But here's an example of how dangerous exploring can be. The floor can just cave in on you, and you can fall down stuff like this. So you always have to be careful. So right now, we are in a section of this funeral home that not many people got to see. This was more private, and this is where a mortician would work. So this is really behind the scenes. And what you're seeing in front of you, this white table, is an embalming table. And what this was used for was a mortician would embalm a body for a funeral, for like an open casket, which basically is them slowing down the process of natural decay that a human body goes through. The table you're seeing right now in front of you is where people's bodies would lay, which is just blowing my mind to think about that. So this table actually moves around. You can see it has a lot of different levers and handles and things to move the position. But it did move around. I can move it freely. It's still very smooth. And you have holes right here for any blood or fluids that would come out. And even down here, there's another one. And you can see on the outside it has an indent, so anything kind of would run down along that, and it would pour into this bucket. Now, I'm not saying that's blood in this bucket, but it doesn't look like spray paint, and it looks really old, so this very well could be blood from someone who had a funeral here. Oftentimes, people don't even realize that this happens. People don't realize this is a thing. This is someone's job. The mortician's job is so important because they're preserving this person for just a little bit longer so their friends and family can see them the way they remembered them. There's actually this gurney, so I'm sure this was used to wheel the bodies in here. And you can actually see this is a body bag. You can see the zipper right there. So the bodies probably be on this gurney in that body bag. And then they're moved to this table. But when you look over here, we have a bunch of clothes. And we have a shirt and tie with some sort of, I don't know if that's rust water or what that is on the collar. But then look down here, and I don't want to really touch this stuff. I don't know what's on those gloves, if that's blood. But this is a dress that someone probably wore in a casket here. and that is very unsettling to me. And there's more hazardous waste bags, and there's more clothes. And this is where they would dress the people up, and they would fix the hair, and they would do all that stuff. So this was all used by this funeral home. Right next to this embalming table is this cabinet. I'll open it up so we can take a look inside. And this was filled with anything that the mortician would need to make these bodies look as good as possible and not have that sense of decay. This is what I thought was interesting. This looks like some sort of staple gun. Not sure if this was used to put wigs on the people or stitch them up or whatever they were doing. That was definitely used in this process. And there's even some hair color. All these things were used on the dead bodies that were in here. And even stuff like this, I'm kind of just going to go through, show you. Not sure exactly what all this stuff is, but looks like there's like a little bit of a needle in there. I'm sure they were cutting their nails and making everything look perfect. And this is actually like a type of spray paint that was used for the bodies to cover up any bruises or blemishes or anything like that. Someone's job was to do this, and they touched this bottle in front of me, and it's still here after all those years. Then we have this mannequin head here. So I'm not exactly sure, I'm assuming this was used for like wigs. They would have a wig on this. If the person who was getting embalmed, if they needed a wig, if they needed something for their hair, I think this would be for that. But I'm not entirely sure. I don't know why else a mannequin head would be in here, but it was the first thing that I saw when I came in here, and it was a little weird. Now this is kind of really giving us that evidence that we needed, because we noticed this orange little label here, and it's pulverized hardening compound for embalming use only. So that's exactly how we figured out what this room was. I mean, the table kind of gave it away, but this just really lets us know exactly what was happening here. Okay, I wanted to just show everyone how this table totally spins around to give the mortician just a lot of good angles whenever they need it to work. So I just want to show you, it still moves around. And you can just spin it like this. It totally just spins right around. And it's just crazy to think that they could have had someone's body right here. They did. They did have someone's body. It was sitting right here, right in front of you, what you're seeing. And just to be in this place and to see something like this, it's incredible. And it's like we're going back in time. This whole room, it's like we're going back in time. That's amazing. I just want to show you guys how this table spins around. I was looking through some stuff, and I found some like death certificates. And I knew this place was old, but they were having funerals here in 1947. Just think about that. This person died January 17th, 1947, and I'm still reading this in 2021. So there's one last thing we want to show you, and that is the upstairs. So let's go. Here's actually another staircase that's on the other side of the building, and I'm assuming the person who lived up here was maybe like the funeral director or somebody older, because they have one of these chairs. But I can't believe someone actually lived up here. That's so creepy. Here was actually one of the rooms in this house. Now the top of this is set up almost like an apartment. Kind of like I was saying before, I don't know if this was like the funeral director or somebody lived here, and this is directly on top of the funeral home we were just in. But take a look at this really dated TV. It's just like, this thing is set back in time. And even all these little knickknacks on top Looks like there's even some type of alcohol left over. And here is their chair. You know, I wonder who sat here? Who was sitting in this chair? But this hat, it's like some sort of hard hat. It reminds me of like a safari hat. But I looked at the inside. You can see Walter Barnard and Son. This hat is from London, which is just crazy that it's in this house now. Just gonna sit here forever. There's a lot of weird stuff on the floor. These little pamphlets saying find your right job. So it's very mysterious up here. And here is the kitchen. I mean, just look how dated this is. This is like back to the 70s almost with that wallpaper. It's just amazing to think that somebody lived above a funeral home. It just seems so crazy to me. But they definitely were older. Like I showed you that assisted seat that brings up the stairs. There's like a walker that this person would use. Assuming someone was older here and they just died. And there was no one who wanted this stuff. No one who wanted this apartment. And just really incredible to see how like frozen in time this is. It's like just a flashback. And there's even plates here. Looks like they were just washed recently. This little Panasonic TV. There's even a decent amount of canned stuff still left in the cabinets, which is just crazy because no one ever came here to clean this place out. Like when the owner died, that was it. It just stayed like this. Right down the hallway is the bathroom. I mean, again with that wallpaper, just look at it. And look at the decay in here. That's like straight up like the roof of this place. It's really falling apart. After all these years, there's a lot of it on the ground. But look what I saw. There's like some makeup. Brush on eyeshadow. Probably from one of the former owners of this apartment. I just can't believe it's still here. This is where they woke up every day and brushed their teeth and washed their hands. And now it looks like this. It's just really weird and spooky when you think about it, how fast things can change and how easily a place can just fall into disrepair. Alright everyone, we're going to end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed the tour of this amazing location. I mean, when's the next time you're going to get to see it? An abandoned funeral home that was from the 1900s. You know, this place was incredible. So much history, so much energy, so much life was once here, and now it's abandoned. If you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and like always, get out and explore more. Peace.